Welcome to the Aro Benaiah Show, where we shine light on the journey of entrepreneurs, people, business leaders who use their skills and stories to inspire the next generation. Today, I'm joined by Joel Kavanagh, a professional business coach, author, and trainer with over 35 years of sales and marketing experts. From building multiple business in real estate to becoming a certified communication and an LLP coach. Joel help professional maximize their full potential, make an impact, and have fun along the way. Joel, it's a privilege having you on the show.
It's an honor to be here, Aro. I appreciate you having me on as a guest.
So, Joel, what was it like growing up for you?
Well, it was pretty good. I can't complain. I think I had a pretty good childhood. I grew up in a small town up in Massachusetts in the United States, about 30 miles outside of Boston. And I am number six of seven children that my parents had. And I
Wow.
only have one brother. I have one brother and five sisters.
Ooh.
So I was heavily outnumbered. But we got along pretty well. And I mean, I didn't want for anything. We didn't have a lot of money, but we weren't poor either, so I can't complain about that.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Hi, growing up, did you see yourself as more as an entrepreneur? How did your journey get started?
Well, first of all, through school, I wasn't afraid to work. I had a lot of manual labor jobs. You name it, from landscaping to working in an apple orchard to scrubbing floors in Navy ships, working as a busboy in a restaurant. I had all different kinds of jobs. And then I I was a very intelligent person, but I didn't apply myself in school as well as I could have because, quite frankly, in hindsight, I wasn't made out for the way they teach school. It's very regimented, and I'm a guy that likes fun and spontaneity and excitement and all that, and none of that describes school.
Yeah.
So anyway, when it came time to go on to college, the school I went to, everybody went on to college. And the teachers, the guidance counselors said, well, you're good in math, so you should go to a business school or accounting school. So I applied to some different ones and I got into a big accounting school in Boston. And I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I was inside all the time. I got a job, a summer job, doing it in an accounting department at a company, and I was indoors all day, no windows. I'm in the middle of the building. And I'll never forget one day in the wintertime, I was working part time during school. I walked outside and it had been snowing all day, and it was so beautiful and white and clean, fresh snow. And I just
Wow.
like, oh man, I miss this. I can't sit inside all the time. I'm an outdoor kid. So anyway, I ended up quitting school. And well, it depends on how you look at it. The college said I didn't have the grades. I just said I can't stand college anymore. So I finally dropped out. And here's the interesting thing. I knew when I got home, I had to get a job that paid some money.
Yeah.
And we had a book back then. I don't know if you're old enough to remember this, but the telephone books. In the back section was the yellow pages, which listed all the companies in the area.
Ooh.
So I literally opened the book, pointed to whatever page opened up, and I said, I'm going to apply for a job wherever this is, right? Turned out to be a moving company, moving furniture.
Wow.
And I called them up and they said, yeah, can you be in here at 6 in the morning? That was it.
Ooh.
And I started moving furniture, and you talk about physical labor. Boy, that was like going to the gym for 10, 12 hours a day. But the beauty was I was getting paid for it. So I like that. But you know what? That was in my 20s, and we would be moving these executives from big corporations and people that had money. And I'm like, I want to be like that. Why can't I be like that? And I had this urge in me that I wanted to do that. And finally, when I was 29, I was just so sick of it. I was looking for anything to do. And my wife at the time, we loved to go camping on weekends. And she said, well, why don't we buy a campground? Then we could live there. I thought she was crazy at first. I'm like, what? We don't know anything about running a campground. She goes, yeah, we'll figure it out. So we did. So I quit punching the clock and working for the man, as I say, and bought a business in another state. We didn't know anybody. It was up in Maine. And that started my journey as an entrepreneur. Now, it didn't end there, but that's where it started.
Wow, that was really, really fascinating. And yeah, a whole lot of lessons to actually learn there. It's the fact that you get bored of school and you took a drastic step to actually more like drop it all along. And yeah, wait home. And another daring part was the getting home and just saying, yeah, I need to get a job. You checking out with the books and reaching out to company, which is quite daring at that particular age. You should be figuring out, I just left school. It should be more like, you should be at home, how will I say it, being a bit remorseful to the fact that you left school. But here you were actually more like more curious that this is what I want to do. Let me just reach out to any company. And that was really, really pretty amazing. So with those your earlier job and earlier experience, what did it teach you about people and business?
I'm sorry, what did I do?
Yeah,
What was the
with
question?
those earlier experience in your various job and the jobs you did, what did it teach you about people and business?
Great question. It taught me a lot about people. Oh wow, where do I begin? One, nobody is really better off than anybody else to start
Hmm.
with. We all have opportunities if we want them. Now, I'm the first to admit I didn't necessarily want them. I wanted the shortcut. I just wanted to win the lottery and have a lot of money. Um, but the beauty of working hard all my life, and I started working, I was shoveling driveways and mowing lawns when I was 12 years old. So I started early. And, but one thing I learned that if you're not afraid to work, you can make it very successful. You can have a successful business. And what happened to me was when we bought that campground and we ran it, we soon found out that we didn't like it as much as we thought. And so my wife wanted to sell it. And we're very fortunate in that situation where I knew somebody that worked for the town, and they said, you know, the town has funds set aside to buy beachfront property in the town, and you guys have the perfect opportunity. Long story short, took almost 2 years, but we ended up selling it to the town, and they have to keep it as a beach and a campground. They can never develop it. We put that clause in there, so I feel good about that. And once we sold that, I looked around for what was available for a business for sale, and it just happened to be a Christmas tree farm. Total opposite of campground. Went from a summer business to a winter business, right? So we did that, and of course, with Christmas trees being seasonal, I needed something to do during the year. And a lady who owned her local real estate company, she says, "Hey, you did a great job negotiating that sale with the town. Why don't you come work for me and do real estate?" So that got me started there. Then what happened after what 3 or 4 years? We ended up having a recession. I wasn't making money. I needed money. A guy who knew me owned a real estate appraisal company. That's where we just go in and value the property, not list it and sell it, but just put the value on it. And so I started doing that because that was more of a steady paycheck. And then a couple of years later, my parents and my wife's parents had passed away. So with that obligation gone, staying nearby, my
Yeah.
wife always wanted to move south where it was warm. And that eventually led us to where we are now in Charleston, South Carolina.
Wow.
And when I
Wow.
got here, yeah, well, I thought I'm going to see if I can get a real estate business going. And whether it's sales or whether it's appraisals, I'll just go with whatever. As it turned out, I got some work with an appraiser, but it was very slow. It wasn't enough for me. I wanted more. And I was going home and complaining about it most nights. And my wife finally says, "Why don't you shut up and put your money where your mouth is?" What are you talking about? Just start your own company. I'm like, "We've only been here 5, 6 months. I don't know the area yet. I got to learn the market." She goes, "You're a smart guy. You'll figure it out." And so literally over a weekend, now back then we had floppy disks where you loaded programs onto a computer. You didn't just look up an app and download it
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Go to a website. So I had to order some software overnight, put it in on the weekend, had some business cards printed up, and the next Monday I just started going out and asking people if they had work for me. And I started getting some work. And it did get kind of busy pretty quickly. And I said, interesting. It's all of a sudden business picked up, and they said, "Well, no, we didn't like the guys you were working for; that they were too slow, but you do things much quicker, so we like you." So I started taking all these accounts from other companies in the area, and they didn't like that. I'm a foreigner. I'm an outsider. I come in. I'm disrupting the market, you know.
Yeah.
But to follow that through, that business ended up taking off like a rocket ship. And
Ooh,
within 3 or 4 years, I had the second largest firm in the town, in the city.
wow. Wow.
Yeah. And all it took was I wasn't afraid to work.
Wow, this is really, really amazing. I think at every point of your stories is quite very interesting. It's as though your wife was even more of an entrepreneur than even you, because the way he pushed you at every step, it's
Yeah.
really amazing. And the fact that you make reference of the point that um opportunity is always available to each and every person, if you are actually more like willing to put in the work, just speak volume to the fact that if you're an entrepreneur and you're actually willing to actually put in the work, there might be times that things might not go well, but once you are willing not to kind of go through the shortcuts, definitely there's going to be a way out. Yeah, thank you so much for that, and your story is really, really fascinating, I would say.
And if I can tell you, you brought up a good point there. If you're willing to work,
Yeah.
and not just willing to work, but you've got to have integrity
It-
and you've got to have honesty.
yeah.
And now I've had this company, I've been living in Charleston 31 years. So I've been very successful. Um, I did also get back into sales as well. So I've dealt with a lot of people that way. And one of the things I found out working with contractors, because a lot of the houses we deal with,
Yeah.
they need work done. The biggest problem that we have with these tradesmen is they don't show up when they say
Yeah.
they're going to do it. Or they might show up and give you a quote and then you never hear from them again. And they
Mm.
don't want to do those little jobs. They want the big projects, you know? And I'll tell you, so many of them get a bad name. And that's very quick that you get a bad, especially today with social media, because you can go right on there and start bad mouthing them. And so if you have integrity and honesty, that's the thing. I always told people, I said, look, I will tell you up front if I can get this done on time or not. And if I can't, you're welcome to go try and see if somebody else can do it. And 9 times out of 10, that client would say, no, we trust you. We know you're honest. So just get it done as soon as you can and we'll wait for you. So they'll bend
Wow.
their rule to accommodate me because I've been honest
Yeah.
and I've been in integrity the whole time. And
Yeah.
if one more tip I would say is always under promise and over deliver.
Mm.
That's the big
I think this is so key on the promise and over deliver, because I don't know which particular statistics I was looking at the other time, and they were making reference of the fact that if you promise clients that you are going to be at the place of the job by 2 p.m., if you end up showing 2 p.m., if you end up showing 3 minutes past 2 p.m., the customer is going to be a bit disappointed owing to the fact that you kept him 3 minutes waiting, compared to where you promise, you just go ahead and promise 3 p.m. and show up like 4 minutes past 2 p.m. and customer will actually appreciate you a whole lot doing that. You will be kept long away from the kind of the expected time, compared to if you keep them waiting a little minute later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, that's one thing, especially today. If I'm running, when you leave to go on this appointment, you put your directions in your phone and it'll tell
Yeah.
you what time you're supposed to get there. So I had one today, for example, and because of traffic, it was going to get me there 10 minutes after the hour. So I just, before I left, I texted the customer and I says, on my way, sorry, I'm running a little late. GPS says I'll be 10 minutes late. I'll get there as soon as I can. They
Yeah.
texted back and say, great, look forward to seeing you soon.
Woo!
It was that simple, right?
Yeah.
But now that's getting into the weeds a little bit. But I'll tell you this, you focus on trades, right? I am a big fan of college is overrated. And you can make a lot more money if you go and learn a trade and be good at it.
Yeah.
Be really good at it. Don't just do it to make the money and rip people off. Because, and again, in this day and age, you're going to be found out very
Yeah.
quickly and you're going to get a bad name.
So true, so true, so true. I think you just speak volume to the missing link when it comes to a whole lot of trade persons. I think is the fact that integrity, a whole lot of them is not checked in respect of integrity, and also a whole lot of them, they are not working to actually improve on what they do. And from what you just said, if every trade person could actually more like learn more to become an authority in their field, in learning how to kind of do their job better in terms of the productivity, the speed, and not ripping their customer out and being trusted, showing up. I think at the end of the day, there's like there is no actually more like a benchmark that any trade person can actually get to. It's just that a whole lot of them, they are not trusted and they don't show up, just the way you said.
Absolutely. And that's something that has come in handy for me over the years. There's no doubt about it. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, those are the key things. And here's the other thing that I found out later in life. I
Yeah.
wish I'd found this out earlier, but I've been working on coaching people and training and mentoring other business people,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't have to be in real estate because it all applies with the
Yeah.
same principles. One of the things I've learned through my study and my research is building relationships is key.
Yeah.
Sales is not a numbers game. It's a people game. And if you can recognize your customers or your prospects' personality and cater to that, you can get so much more business much faster.
Yeah.
I proved it to myself. That's one thing when I coach and train. That's on my program. I tell people, look, none of this is just theory. I've proven every one of the methodologies that I teach you. And so I've got the proof. For example, the big communication aspect of it, I was closing my listing appointments at a rate of 37%, which is high for our industry. The average is around 20, 22.
Oh.
I was already a top producer, but I studied to get better. And I went from 37% conversion rate to 86%
Ouch.
conversion rate in less than a year.
Wow.
And that's when I knew, okay, I'm on to something here. And so I went and studied it, got certified in it, and now I train that. That's one of the things that I do for people. So if you are in business, it's one thing to know your trade, but it's just as important to know the person you're talking to and what their personality style is. For example, there are people who are very risk adverse, very conservative. They
Yeah.
live inside the box, right? They don't like to break any rules. They want everything planned out step by step by step by step. They want the processes in place, right? They're very budget oriented.
Yeah.
Then you've got a different type of personality, which is more my style. It's like, look, Aro, I don't care what the details are. If you're good at your job and it's going to cost me X number of dollars, you got the job. Just cut right to the chase. Don't sit there and give me an hour presentation. I don't have time for that. I got places to go, people to see, things to do, right? So I perfect example. A few years ago, we were getting gutters around our house, right, for the rain. And my stepson had worked for this company a couple of years prior. So he knew they were a good company. So we called him up. We had him out to the house. This young salesman comes in, about 25, 26 years old. And he pulls out his iPad and he's ready to do this whole presentation. I said, look, I know what we want. My stepson has worked with your company before. He told us what we should have. Is just tell me how much it costs. He says, well, I'll get to that, but can I go through I want to go through the presentation, show you all the benefits. Like, no, you're not speaking. I didn't say this, but I'm thinking, you're not speaking my language. You're not getting my, right? So even my wife was telling us, we appreciate you want to go through this and it's good experience for you and you're young and you're learning, but we just need to know the price. And if the price is within our budget, you got the job. It's that simple. You could sign and be out the door. But he kept trying to go for it and give us that presentation. So I finally just had to stop him and said, look, if you keep going, we're not doing business with you. If you stop right here and tell us what the price is, we'll do business with you. We already knew we wanted to hire the guy. He didn't know that, but we did. So he finally relented. He was uncomfortable doing it, but he did. And the point I'm getting at was after we're all done and we got the paperwork signed, I says, look, Tom, I said, I'm a salesman. I've been a salesman all my life. I'll tell you right now, you're going to be a great salesman, but you got things to learn. You've got to read your customer and understand what it is they really want. It isn't just the product. It's the way you treat them that counts. So next thing you know, he's signing up to be a client.
I mean, that was a good sales pitch there. And apart from the fact that you just use more like your experience with him, just speak volume on some of those particular principles you're actually missing out when it comes to sales and when it comes to personality type. Just speak volume to what is actually missing out. And yeah, this story is really, really fascinating. Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Sure.
Yeah, so you have actually bought several businesses and you have sold a whole lot of them. What lessons do you learn from those transitions?
From transition to what? From
Yeah,
the
from one
business.
businesses to the other, from another businesses to the other.
Oh, really, it's all the same. The same principles apply. Now, I will say this, through my years and decades of experience and the wisdom I've gained, I've learned now, I wish I'd known it then, that it's just as important, if not more important, as I said a few minutes ago, to build that relationship with the prospect.
Yeah.
86% of people will do business with people they like.
Yeah, so
Because if
true.
they like you, they feel they know you, and then they feel they trust you. So you need to build that rapport and that trust. And that's one of the most valuable lessons I learned through all the changes. But as far as going from one business to another, it's really all the same. You've got
Yeah,
to be able to do the back office work. In other words, the books, make sure you're within budget. You have all your appointments lined up properly. You got your calendar synced with everything, and you communicate with your people. Like just tell them, okay. I typically do it the evening before because a lot of times I have a long drive to where I'm going. I say, hey, just checking in to make sure we're meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And they usually come back, yep, we're all set, we're waiting for you. Or I've had them say, I totally forgot, can we reschedule? Well, that saved me an hour drive going out there,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, so
or
true.
something came up or somebody's sick or whatever it might be. And again, it's communication. That's all it is.
Yeah, so
Plain
true.
and simple.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. So, what role has failure or setback play in your growth as an entrepreneur and as a coach?
What's setbacks?
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
setback, failures. What role does he actually play in?
Oh, failures.
Yeah,
Well, let's see. I can't really think of too many failures. I will say this, back in 2008, being in real estate, if you recall that era, we had the big market correction, and a
yeah,
lot of people called it market crash in
yeah.
real estate. And I was heavily invested in real estate. I was buying properties left and right. And when that period of time came, I owned and managed 19 properties,
Woot.
all residential rental properties, right?
Wow.
And a year or two before, almost 2 years prior to that, I have this accountant, a friend of mine, and she is, in my view, very conservative, as a lot of accountants are. And she had told me in 2 years prior, it says, Joe, you've got a lot of value here. He said, but how are you going to protect yourself in case the market turns down?
Mm,
And I said, market's not turning down because it was going like a hot potato. I
yeah.
mean, there was no stop. It was no end in sight. And I'm thinking, I'm getting richer by the day. I'm not selling any of my properties, right? She said, you should cash them in, put it in a CD, a certificate deposit in the bank, and live off the 2.5-3% interest that you get. I'm like, why? When I'm going up 2.5-3% per month on my values, right? And on paper, I was worth a few million. And then, of course, the crash came. And in hindsight, I wish I had listened to her, at least for half of them, you know? So, long story short, by the time it all ended and we came through that, I had lost half my properties. I had to give them back to the bank because what happened was tenants couldn't pay their rent because they lost their jobs. And I couldn't get new tenants to replace them. So I couldn't carry all those mortgages and I had to do something. And I went to see an attorney about claiming bankruptcy. She says, "You're not even close to bankruptcy." She just said, "Give up those bad ones that you know you won't recover from. And you've
Oh,
got some that are good and you got equity and all that. Just hold on to those." So fortunately, I did. But that was a big failure for me. I didn't listen to other people. I'm too stubborn. I said, "No, I know better." You know,
yeah,
a lot of times we do know better because you got that gut instinct,
yeah,
but a lot of times you don't. It was over my head. It was more expertise and knowledge than I had at the time. And this accountant had that expertise and knowledge, but I didn't listen to her.
yeah. I think it's also a mix of entrepreneurship is a mix of being stubborn and willing to actually dare. Because sometimes if you end up listening to every single person, you would end up taking some particular actions, some particular investments, some particular route you took. So entrepreneurship is more like, yeah, being crazy, and it's only from the inside you get to look at it and say, wow, I was actually crazy when I was doing it. Compared to when you're just diving in, yeah, it pretty look like fun and you're just having a nice time.
Definitely crazy. Definitely crazy. A lot of people said that, you know. But what definition of entrepreneur is someone who's willing to take a huge risk
Yeah,
for a big reward, right?
yes,
So I'm not going to say it was easy. There
yeah,
were times when I was down to no money and I had a family to feed. But you know what? I dug in deeper and I got to work and it worked out.
yeah,
Um, but that's the thing. The beauty of it is after that, I didn't have to, once I started as own my own business, I didn't have to take orders from anybody else. And
yeah.
that's my thing. I like taking orders. Um, and I'll tell you, it's not for everybody because when I had my appraisal business going full blast, big firm, I had 10 appraisers going full time with me. And I would sit them down for their quarterly or biannual review. And I would say right to them, like you, Aro, I'd say, "Aro, you know what you're doing. You've been in this business a few years. When are you going to open your own shop?" Right? Because I want to feel them out, see if they're going to
Yeah.
be my competition. And they would sit there and say, "No, I don't want to have my own company." I said, "Why? You'd make double the money, right? For the same work." And their answer was, "Yeah, when I leave here in the afternoon and go home, I want to be able to forget about my job. I don't want to have to
Oh,
worry." So it
yeah,
proved to me it's not made for everybody.
yeah,
But see, I
yeah,
love to worry about it because I was making all the money.
yeah,
So, but it is true. It's 24/7. You don't get away from it. And here's the other part that you got to be careful about. And this is part I'm going to give you some of my training that I do, my coaching,
yeah.
is
Thank you.
business problems. When you do have business problems, they become personal problems because you can't separate the two.
Yeah,
When you go home at night, you take the business problems with you. And if they're really bothering you, that affects your family life or your personal life at home.
yeah,
And that can affect your business. So the
yeah,
two are interrelated that way. And that's the key. That's why you've got to make sure that you are on top of things and doing it right and stay within that framework. Don't get too crazy and spend all your money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that, Joey. I think that was really really amazing. Thank you for that particular answer. So, for tradespeople or small business owner who aren't natural salespeople, what is the first step towards becoming confident in selling?
Good question there. A lot of people don't think they're in sales, but guess what? All of us are. And
Yeah,
how do I back that up? Have you ever asked anybody out on a date? You're selling your services to them to see if they'll go along. Have you asked them out to dinner? Okay. Your child asks you for a candy bar when you go to the store. They're selling. They're trying to convince you to go along with what they're offering. So we're
yeah,
all in sales, whether you like it or not. Now, this is another thing that I tell people. If you don't, some people have an aversion to the word sales. So replace that with the word influence.
Mm.
You like to have good influence on other people. And to me, that's actually a better word than sales, because what are you doing in sales? You're trying to influence somebody to buy what you're selling or to work with you on whatever you're offering.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
the key.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
but you're right. There are people that just they don't think they can sell. Get some training from people like me. And one thing too, when they are looking for training, because there's umpteen offers out there every day online. And if you're interviewing somebody that's going to work with you, coach you, mentor you, train you, first thing I would ask them, or one of the first things is, who is your coach? Who's your trainer? Because a lot of them out there, I don't know that they have trainers or coaches themselves because they think they know it and can do it for others. I have two, and if you count my wife, I have three. So,
Yeah. I was about to say that
me.
your wife should be one of them because the way you push it
Oh yeah,
every time, you just speak with them to the fact that, uh, yeah, he should believe in you so much, and every time she knows the button to actually more like reach out to so that you could actually take action towards the next move, and it's really amazing.
yeah. So if you're thinking of having somebody work with you to help increase your business, which is what we do,
Yeah.
make sure that they do have those qualifications and they have certifications and that they have a coach. And if they
Yeah.
don't, my suggestion is run the other way as fast as you can. Don't get involved. There's
Wow.
too many people out there that are, making it all sound like glory, and then you get there and they'll give you an outline and then they drop you and leave you. I
Mm.
don't work that way. As I told you earlier, anything that I'm working on with you, I've done it and I've proven it, and I can give you the facts to back it up.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Thank you, Joe. So, how important is mentorship, and how can someone find the right mentorship in their industries?
Uh, well, again, you can do Google searches. That's probably the quickest way. Not all the best ones show up that way. I know some great worldwide coaches that are teaching famous people, and you probably won't see them on any social media because they don't need it. They're that good. Um, I would definitely vet them and make sure, talk to other people that have worked with them and get recommendations from them, referrals, and check those out. So let's say I'm looking to hire a coach, and if they say, they've worked with you before, I'm going to call you and I'm going to say, Aro, off the record, just between you and me, what'd you think? Did you get your money? You know,
Yeah.
and some people say yes, some people say no. Fortunately, I'm well connected in that realm now, so I know it's pretty easy to tell who the quality people are.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Joe. So, what advice will you give to young or trade persons trying to secure an internship or opportunity with a more yeah, professional? From how you actually started out, you reach out to companies and just from the book. So, if you were to give that particular blueprint to young persons today who actually want to secure internship on trade business on those particular platforms, what would you suggest they actually reach out to?
Well, everybody's going to tell you, just go out there and apply and do it and get yourself out there. But one thing I would add to that is when you do find somebody that's going to give you a chance, and they're testing you out, let's face it, they're checking you out to see if you're going to be any good. Make sure you listen and you do more than they ask you to do. Do
Mm.
more than they ask you to do. So if they tell you, I don't know, at first they might just have you cleaning up behind them, right? Get all the tools and put them in the truck and that sort of thing. Well, take a broom and dustpan and sweep the house. Ask the homeowner if the house is clean enough that they leave it okay. Things like that. Um, it's going that little bit extra. Like I said, over deliver. Do more than the basics. I have seen both. I've seen people that, I mean, they just take over the situation and they just love it. And you can tell they love what they're doing too. They do that extra. And I've seen others that, like, you tell them to pick up the tools, they'll just pick up the tools. They won't pick up the toolbox or the tarps you're using or other things like that, right? So you get both extremes. and it's pretty
Yeah.
easy to figure out who's going to be a good worker and who isn't.
Wow, amazing. Do a bit extra than what is expected. And yeah, it's really amazing having that as an indices for more like when you actually more like reach out and secure internship, because sometimes it's the fact that a whole lot of persons who want to secure internship, they don't want to do more than what they are expected of. And I think it will definitely show in your energy and the way you do things, whether you are serious about the trade or you are just there to just while away time. And the fact that you just brought it up just speak volume to, yeah, these are spoken words. Even definitely the owner of the business is going to sense whether you really want to go far with this thing or you are just there to just just while away time. And the fact that you make reference of it just speak volume. Yeah, thank you.
Exactly. Like in my appraisal business, that particular business, legally, once you do your 2 to 3 years of apprenticeship, you can take a test, get your certification, and technically, on paper, you're qualified to go out and open your own business and do all the work. However, the reality of it is you don't know what you're doing yet.
Yeah.
And my boss, when I was young, that took me under his wing and taught me. He said, Joe, minimum 5 years experience before you see all scenarios and know how to handle
Hmm.
them. And I did that. I actually did work for him for 5 years and then moved down here. And that's when I felt, okay, I think I'm good enough to go out and start my own. And I proved that I was.
Wow.
And what was nice about that, he told me, and keep in mind, I moved to a different part of the country, so we're 1,000 miles apart. He told me, so anytime you have a question, reach out, I'll help you with it. That's another great sign from the mentor
Yeah.
standpoint, you know. But yeah, if you're just looking to get into it, learn every day. One of my mottos is, and I think Gandhi said this, live. What is it? Learn like you live forever, and live like you'll die tomorrow.
Ah, learn that you live like you live forever. Wow.
So learn
Wow.
something. My goal every day is to learn something.
Wow.
It may not be business related, but I learned something.
Wow. That's really amazing. I think that was the next question I actually want to ask. How do you personally keep learning, improving, and staying sharp after 35 years of being in the game?
Say that again. How's my personality?
Yeah. How do you personally keep learning and improving and staying sharp after 35 years in the game?
How do they keep improving?
Yeah. And keep learning.
By learning, taking courses, studying up on things. Spend a little time at night when you get home, and maybe you can I don't know, pick a trade. Would it be, say, a plumber, for example, and soldering or connecting pipes, whatever the case might be? He might have been taught by his boss the basics on how to do it, but there could be better ways to do it. You never know.
Yeah.
So just research it and study it,
Wow. Wow.
and just try to know as much as you can about it. And and that's the other part of that. If you're in a job or something like that, and you really don't know something, don't say, "Well, I can't do that. I don't know how," because the customer's going to say, "Oh my God, this guy doesn't know
Yeah.
what he's doing." I would say, you know what? I'll have to go back and research that, and
Yeah.
I'll have it tomorrow, and then go home and research it and come back with the right
Yeah.
solution for it. And that makes you
Yes.
smarter. Is it something you
Yes.
didn't know yesterday, right?
Yeah, so true, so true. So if someone is listening now, I want to increase their sales conversion, and but doesn't know where to start, what is one habit or simplest habit they can actually begin today when it comes to trade business?
Again, you've got to learn how to recognize the personalities of different people. And you do that by taking courses, getting a
Yeah,
good coach, trainer, like someone like myself. I can help with that. There are other people out there that can do it, but find the right person that can help you, because psychology is a lot these days. And like we're talking about, it's building relationships and connecting with those people. Somebody who's um, say there's a type of personality they're really intelligent, and but they're not great socially, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
They're the smartest people in the room for sure, but they just can't carry a conversation or don't care to.
Yeah.
So you're not going to sit down and be someone like me who just starts blabbing away and telling stories and all that because they don't want to hear it. But
Yeah.
if you give them facts and data and research that was done on it, they're going to love you for it.
Yeah.
So again,
True.
you're catering to their personality. It's not manipulation. It's being authentic. It's just recognize that people perceive information differently and they
Differently.
process it differently. And once you know how they do that, I'm telling you that I went from 37% to 86%, and that was in my early days of knowing this. Now I've become a certified trainer in it. So it makes all the difference. So learn from somebody that knows, that's been there, that's done that, and been in the trenches.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So finally, what legacy do you actually hope to leave through your coaching and your business training?
Great question. I like that one. My goal is to help people improve their lives and make them more successful at the same time. Because when you're successful, but you have a high quality of life, in other words, you can do it living in integrity and being honest with people and not ripping people off. I mean, that's great. And the moments of joy I get is when somebody comes back to me and said, you taught me something, or you showed me something, or you said something that just really changed my life. And I'm so grateful that I known you for that. I mean, those are the things I live for. That's satisfaction to me.
Wow, that's really, really amazing.
Matter of fact, just had that happen a couple of weeks ago, where a girl that 5 years ago when the pandemic started, her life was in a downward spiral. And I gave a message to her and didn't think anything of it, just in passing, these little cards we give out that have motivational sayings in them. And she said, I opened that card and he said, it was the perfect message for me that I needed to hear at that time. And you helped take me out of that funk and get myself back on a good course. So thank you very much. That was 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, that's what I said. I said, wow, I don't know what to say. But boy, that's the best kind of success right there.
Yeah.
More than the money, more than anything.
Yeah, so true, so true.
Yeah, and you've got to invest. You got to invest in yourself. You have to put in the funds to make yourself better because it'll pay off. It usually pays off about tenfold.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if you were to leave us with the final words, advise yourself when you were in your 20s, what advice will it be?
That's a tough one right there. I would like, I can hear my wife laughing in the distance. She heard your question. You come over here. Do you want to meet my wife?
I would love to have her.
This is Cindy. She's standing over here listening to me.
I would love to get over to me that I would love to have your wife on the show because she actually influenced a whole lot in terms of it's good to have you here, ma'am.
He's in Nigeria. So some of them know people in town. But,
thank you, ma'am.
Should I give my advice would be to listen to what other people are telling you and don't be so stubborn. Because I used to think, yeah, that's all good, but I can do it. I know a better way. I didn't see that. What did you do? I was looking at him. Listening. Yeah. I mean, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say you don't know something and be open to somebody learning it from somebody. Now, you don't have to do it verbatim. You might agree with some of what they say and not others. So you can go test it out. And then, as Cindy likes to say, what is it? Eat the chicken?
Brigida, yeah. Eat the chicken, spit out the bones.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So if your wife was to give, ma'am, if you are going to kind of leave a final words for my audience to, owing to how you push your husband at various steps to actually more like do a whole lot of things which actually becomes better. If you're going to leave them with a final words, looking back, what will it be, ma'am?
Looking back, I spent 32 and a half years in corporate as an accountant.
Ooh.
And looking back, I would have told myself to take myself a lot less seriously.
Yeah.
And for me, joy is everything. If I can bring a smile to someone's face, my day's made. And
Wow.
I'm known as the bubble lady. I carry bubbles with me everywhere I go. I carry little thoughtfuls. So if I can bring a smile to someone's face, my day has been made. And that's what I live for. That's my passion.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Thank you so much. I think I could see where the humor and doing what you love come from Joy. I think I've seen his wife now and I understand.
When I
Thank
was
you.
telling you the stories when I was young, that was a different wife. But yeah, we've
Wow.
been together 10 years, 10 and a
Yeah.
half years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow. Wow.
yeah, she's
Amazing.
awesome.
Amazing. Good to have you on the show too, man. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for letting me just,
Pop in.
sneak
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's right.
Wow. That was really lovely. I must say thank you so much. And thank you for your final words. So it's the fact that you make reference of listing, because I think it's still very key too when it comes to enrolling entrepreneurs. Sometimes we get overwhelmed and wouldn't want to listen, being that we think we have it all figured out. And the fact that you make reference of the view that, yeah, listen, yeah, check the authenticity of what they are saying, compare it, and I think if we actually more like miss decision from this particular end, at the end of the day, we end up being right than being wrong.
Yes. Yeah. Don't be afraid to say you don't know something and ask questions.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you
That's a
so much. Thank you so much, Joe. So more like, how can my audience learn more about you? How can they do business with you, and where can they connect with you?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways. I'm on LinkedIn with my name, Joe Kavanagh. So that
Okay.
would be right now the best way to do it. I have a website in progress. It's not up yet. It hope to be in another month or so.
Okay.
Uh, and I don't know when you're publishing this, but the safest way, reach out to me on LinkedIn and connect that way.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mind giving a phone number, but you're going to have a lot of international people, so that's up to you. But if you want to email me, my business email is candjcoaching@gmail. So it's Cindy. So
Yeah.
CANDJ for Joe, coaching@gmail. And I can send you a link where you can complete a fun little exercise for me. It takes about a minute. You'll love it, and it tells you what your personality style is.
Oh, wow.
And
Amazing. I would love it.
in 1 minute, I'll send it to you so you can do it, and I'll want to get your feedback afterwards. But what you do is you fill that out once you put in your information, and I control the website, so we won't spam you.
Yeah.
You hit submit, and once you do, we send you a beautiful 22-page report that tells you all about yourself and how to
Wow.
communicate with others and how
Wow.
you like to be communicated with. So that'll help. Self-knowledge is
Yeah.
valuable. And then once you do that, it'll take you to my calendar, and you can book a discovery call, as I call it. So
Oh,
we can get on a call. We'll just chat, get to know each other. And then if I can help you, fine. If I can't, hey, I love to meet new people. So it
amazing.
works out that way.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joe. So, Joe,
I'm a
thank you.
no pressure guy, and I don't pressure anyone. Don't need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Joy, thank you for sharing your wisdom, energy, humor with us today. Your journey from real estate entrepreneurs to communication, which is a proof that sales isn't just about pushing products, it's about connecting with people. For those who want to learn more from Joy, you can check out his upcoming training. Uh, yeah. And also, our listener, remember that our most powerful business tools you haven't is just your product or your service. It is your ability to communicate, build trust, and create real relationship. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and keep growing. Once again, good to have you on the show, Joy.
Love it. Thank you, Aro.